Yo, welcome back everybody. I'm making a quick video about my party frames and how I track my defensive and offensive buffs. I get asked about this sometimes on stream and it's kind of hard to explain, so sometimes it's easier to just like link a video, and I think it could help out some folks as well. So the first part I'm going to talk about is the big tank defensives, which is the large icon on the top of the party frames. For this, it's important that you're sorting your party frames tank first and then everyone else after. I always put the healer on the lowest one so I can track their mana, but it doesn't matter if you want to put it second, like that's fine too. So this will track, as you can see, Sentinel, so I'm going to rewind a little bit. So tank goes in, pop Sentinel. This will track like Guardian, Incarn, Celestial Brew for Monk, Fort Brew I believe. Any like big button that really only tanks have that you kind of want to know about as a healer or DPS. And so you can see he's got Sentinel up. I think he's going to press Ardent Defender soon as well. And just kind of helps you know like how tanky your tank is. So if you look right now, he's got Ardent, he's got King's proc, which is from when they drop below 40% or 30%. When they drop kind of low, they proc Kings, which is I believe 40 or 50% DR. It's pretty huge. So it's important to track all this stuff like Sentinel, Ardent, and Kings. Like if you see this, the tank is probably really tanky. Obviously this is a dangerous pull, so you know, they might still be in danger, but it's worth being aware of rather than just having like no idea how tanky your tank is at any time. Helps you make decisions either as a DPS player, like if you're going to rip thread or how big they're going to pull, if they need your help, like maybe right now, if you're like, say you're playing like a monk, like you're not going to drop Ring of Peace right now, but you might drop it in like 10 seconds when all this stuff falls off. So it just helps you like play around your tank's cooldowns and kind of be aware like when they might need an external, when they might start kiting, maybe binding shot, tar trap, like typhoon them, Ursul's vortex, like anything that you have to help out your tank. It helps to kind of line them up around here because you could tell like with all of these buffs up, like he's probably not going to be kiting anytime soon, but well, soon like relatively. And then things start falling off, but the pull's like dead, so you know, obviously he's chilling. So right now, obviously in this run, I'm only going to be showing like Prop Paladin, but it would be the same thing for Guardian, Druid, Incarn. Any big button like that you want to be aware of, it'll be up top. And so these work with Blizzard frames. I have given them to people that just use like standard Blizzard frames and they fit just fine. But it should scale with Blizzard frames. I don't know if it works like with Voodoo or anything like that, but if you're using Voodoo, you should stop doing that, in my opinion. I hate Voodoo. Okay, moving on. So the next part is the party defensives, which is the top right corner of the health bar. So you can see here like the tank has Consecration and Shield of the Righteous up, and so those are tracked there because I don't want to call them like minor, but they're kind of up like all the time, so you kind of don't really need to. It's not like, oh shit, the tank has Shield of the Righteous, oh nice. Like no, it's more to see like if the tank doesn't have those things, you'll kind of get used to like out of the corner of your eye, like oh no, like the tank is naked, he's gonna take like a bunch of damage. That'll track like Guardian, Druid, like Iron Fur, Survival Instincts and stuff like that. Anything that's like other specs might have is going to be tracked in that bar. So you can see here in that top right corner, if you look here, so I'm going to get targeted by this Dark Omen, and so I press Renewing Blaze, which is a dragon ability, and it's kind of like Mage Altered Time, so like any damage you take during that buff is going to be healed back over like 8 to 10 seconds, I forget which. And so I press this, and I should have pressed Skills as well, but you can see instantly I'm taking damage. And then that blue leaf here, I changed the icon for it because if you look up at the top, like these two Renewing Blazes, they look exactly the same, so it's kind of hard to tell like which one's which. So you can see Renewing Blaze is falling off, but the hot is still up, and then I also proc my Spore Cloak, which is tracked there. That's that big absorb that I have. The Renewing Blaze is going to end, but I'm going to keep that hot for a little bit. So if I were to take more damage, I would kind of still be receiving a heal. It's not super important, but it's something to take into account. Like if everyone's taking damage and your dragon is still healing up, like maybe you're not going to dump your big single target heal into that person, or you're not going to like sack them or whatever. I mean, maybe not with sack, but like you get the idea. It's just, you know that they're receiving healing. And so here the druid gets targeted by that same ability, the Dark Omen from the mask, and she has Barkskin rolling, and then she drops low enough to proc the self heal from Frenzied Regen. That means they're going to heal for, I don't know how much, let's say like 40% of their health over a few seconds. So you know if the damage is ending, then they're pretty much gonna self-heal, so you might not need to like lay on hands them or whatever if they have like bark and frenzied regen. I'm not saying don't heal people, I'm just saying like take it into account before you know, say there's 3 people in danger and one has renewing blaze, one has bark skin, and one has nothing, then like maybe you want to sack the one that has nothing or something like that. Just helps you make like snap decisions when there's all this chaos going on. It also tracks like blazing barrier, like literally any defensive will be tracked there. Something that I've added recently because augmentation came out is the buff from the Breath of Eons. So I send Breath of Eons here, and Breath of Eons puts this debuff on the enemies for 8 seconds. So when it ends, it's going to give everyone a shield for a portion of the damage that they dealt to the enemy. So right now it's about to end, and then you'll see on my party frames and in the green text here, everyone's getting an absorb for a certain amount based on the damage that they dealt to the boss. And I think it's capped at like 30% of your health. So you can see on the party frames, everyone has this shield. And on my external pack down here, it says I have 182k shield. So right now everyone has this shield that lasts for 25 seconds, 30 seconds maybe? I don't know. So say there was an AoE coming out, this basically is like everyone has an absorb for like 30% of their health right now. So say there's 3 instances of AoE damage coming out, like maybe the one with this, you don't send your biggest cooldown because everyone kind of already has this shield. And so it'll track things like Zephyr as well. Like if I go back to this first pull here, we pull all these ticks. And this is pretty dangerous, but so I Zephyr and it was a little bit early. It was almost too early, but I think it was okay. And so right now all these ticks are going to explode. And they're going to deal AoE damage. So the Zephyr, I believe the Zephyr reduced this by 20%. It doesn't work on everything. It works on like AoE damage, so I'm assuming it worked on that, I hope. And then the Zephyr's falling off. I could have also pressed scales there too. I just was distracted because there's a lot going on. It was kind of a big pull. And so you could see it tracks as well. I got bopped here. You can see the duration of bop. This buff here, the shining one, is the new mage ice block. It's not like the real ice block where they're like immune to everything. It's a 70% TR, and I think there's a talent where it heals them over the duration as well. So if you're looking at this, you could see like the healer Laroque has Desperate Prayer up, the Feral Druid has Survival Instincts, the Mage has Ice Block, I have Scales, Bop, Renewing Blaze. Like everyone has buttons up right now. But say you were healing like a large AoE damage, and you could see the Druid has SI, I have Scales or whatever, and then the Mage has nothing left remaining, then maybe you would press like Sack on the Mage or something. So it just helps you like really quick be able to see like, oh, okay, everyone has buttons up, the Mage has a bleed, and he doesn't have any defensives left, so maybe we sack him. So we'll go back, and there's a good example of a really good bubble here as well. So we're grouping up this pull, and there's a lasher in the back, which I should have stayed back to kick this lasher, and my range is so short, so by the time I realize, I'm like, oh shit, I target him to kick him, but it's already way too late. So now the tank has this disease dispel, which stuns him for 30 seconds until dispelled or healed to full, or maybe not full, I think it's like a certain amount. And he's about to tank this pull. So tank slams bubble, this is like a legendary bubble, very, very good. Which AoE taunts everything, makes him immune. The only thing that didn't get taunted is I think this one in the back, but he probably like taunted it after with like the regular taunt. And so it just helps you see like the duration of the bubbles. So say you see your tank bubbles, like you're probably not going to want to typhoon all the mobs away. Like you're going to want to wait till the bubble falls off and then help out the tank after. Or you might not like need to external, like if you external someone when their bubble's rolling, then it's completely wasted because they're not taking damage anyway. So like you don't want to iron bark them or sack them or whatever your button is as a healer. And after a while you kind of just get used to like seeing all these buffs, and it helps you make decisions and stuff. So in the last part I'm going to talk about is the left side. So defensives are top right and offensives are top left. You'll see here like the mage just pressed combustion, so you can see he's got 12 seconds of combustion. So you can see then he also has PI, so he has PI combust. And I think this is helpful because let's say you're going into this pull and say you're tanking and you see your druid has 20 seconds of incarn and say this pull was over, you'd kind of want to be like, all right, let me tag more mobs into this pull while they still have this incarn window. So, like, you can see like the incarn buff here. So say you're tanking, you're like, all right, my mage has combust soon, maybe you're gonna pull some stuff. Druid has 14 seconds of incarn. Like, obviously stuff's pretty healthy, so you don't necessarily need to chain, but you know, you get what I'm saying. It just helps you make decisions. Kind of repeating myself at this point, but yeah, it should fit on Blizzard Frames perfectly. You should fit on LVUI perfectly. If anything, you might need to like rescale the pack depending on your UI scaling. But from everyone I've given it to, they're like, yeah, no, it fits, it's fine. You don't have to do any like weird editing or anything like that. It's probably my favorite Weakaura pack that I've made. I think I get the most value out of it, out of all the other ones. But let me know what you think. Let me know if I left anything out that's like super important. Obviously, I don't play every single spec in class. I play a lot of them, so I kind of know like which buttons to track. But if you like the video, hit it with a like. Subscribe if you like this kind of shit. I'll try to post more often. I'm trying to get to 500 subscribers. I think I'm at like 409 or something. So, if you're not subscribed yet, consider doing that for me. Thank you. Also stream on Twitch, so feel free to pop by whenever. I try to answer any questions, and I like chatting with people. So, yeah, I'll see you on Twitch. Thank you guys for watching. Peace out.